Hey guys, and welcome back to Altcoin Buzz Spotlight with me, Layah, the show where we speak to entrepreneurs, innovators, and thought leaders in the cryptocurrency and the blockchain space. Joining me today is Jawad Ashraf, the CTO and the co-founder of Terra Virtua, the industry-leading company when it comes to new digital collectibles and NFTs. And there's also a pretty interesting announcement, so make sure you stay tuned. Also guys, before we jump in, make sure to hit the like button and hit subscribe so you never miss a video. And also let us know in the comment section below who you want us to interview next and which topics you want us to cover. Jawad, welcome to Altcoin Buzz. How are you doing?
Not too bad.
Good. It's great to have you because this space, since we last spoke to you guys, I think almost a year ago, has totally evolved. It's gone mainstream. So I'm excited to jump straight in. So last time we spoke, we were talking about the Godfather on the blockchain. This time we're talking about Godzilla versus Kong as an NFT. So can it get any bigger than this? Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, I think in terms of NFTs, we're just getting started. I mean, what we managed to do with Godzilla versus Kong is the first time that a major IP brand has worked hand in hand with a company for a movie release. So all our marketing activities have been completely coordinated. That's why we're the first company that's in Variety talking about NFTs this week. So that's quite an achievement. But right now, we're just at the beginning. I mean, there's a lot of hype around this area, and a lot of people are going to be confused about what the NFT market's all about. But what we're trying to do in Terra Virtua is take it mass market, and that means some education. And before we had to explain to people what an NFT was, but now we have to explain to them that what an NFT isn't, because everyone's got preconceptions.
Yeah, and I think that's a really interesting change, actually. Even having something, in mind that it could be, as opposed to, asking what an NFT is. So you have touched on this, but let's go into it. What would you say some of the biggest changes are with this space, with this whole NFT boom in the last year?
Well, I think there's a few things. The first thing is that crypto went through a phase where it was very, very popular, and then it went through what they call the crypto winter for a few years. And we started before and we powered all the way through, and then we launched the last time you were talking about blockchain. But what's changed now is that everyone's seeing crypto as something really interesting. A lot of people are investing in things. There's a lot of people investing in crypto, and that's also then fed the boom of NFTs. Because now crypto went through cycles. So people were investing in crypto, then they were investing in products which are decentralized finance products, which are DeFi. And now the next wave, which is approaching, and we're in the belly of the beast right now, it's NFTs. And what's different is that artists, celebrities have got onto the trend. They're releasing NFTs, and they're capitalizing on it, but also they're trying to experiment with what's possible and not possible. But what's happening is that generally in crypto, a lot of people who are into crypto, who've got a lot of ETH in their wallets and are really interested in space, are buying these very, very high price items. And that's great. But what's happening is that there's a lot of excitement and a fervor around it, but the little guy is being left out of the picture. So when people hear about NFTs, this is the difference. Before it was, what is an NFT? And now it's like, well, an NFT is only $1 million and I can never afford it. So there's an NFT is basically the ability for you to have an item which is digital, which will live forever, irrespective of the company. So if I buy a mug from a manufacturer and the manufacturer goes out of business, I still own the mug. So that's what a digital item is. So when the company stops making the product or whatever, you still own it, you can gift it, it becomes something you give your grandkids. But now NFT's perception, the market's increasing. There's loads of people making NFTs. Some are great, some are not. Some are capitalization on the hype, and some are actually beautiful pieces in their own right. But now it's more a case of filtering the noise and making sure what's a good product and making people understand that it's not just about huge value items. That's why, when we talk about Godzilla versus Kong, we worked with Legendary and we made sure that we didn't drop items which were $1 million or $500,000. There are some items which are going to be mega auctions, but by the same token, we released little posters for $50, $75 collectible items, which will go up in value. So that's the thing that's changed perception. And a lot of people who think about an NFT think about cryptocurrency, but they're not the same thing at all. Just like the internet-enabled email, blockchain-enabled NFTs, one can't exist without the other, but they're two different things. So.
Yeah, no, and I think you make a really important point that there's just, since it is a bit of a potential bubble right now, there's some great quality things and there's some not so great quality things. And I think it's like anything where you really have to take the time and research and know what you're buying. You know, so many different projects are popping up right now. And I think it's all about putting that time in and understanding, you know, what it is you're buying and where that value comes from. But you mentioned ETH there, and you know, a lot of this has been done on the Ethereum network. Gas fees are absolutely insane. So what would you say some of the biggest challenges are right now? I guess, you know, we've been able to sort of take this to the masses to some extent, but what are today's challenges?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a couple of challenges, actually. One is about the NFT itself, and the other is about the fact it's on the Ethereum network. There are NFTs which exist on different networks. So for anyone on the mass market watching, like different highways. And so Ethereum is a layer one, but you have multiple networks which are compatible with Ethereum where you can take things on and off that main highway. So the best way to avoid all of these congestion problems is move onto a network where they don't exist. So one of our key partners is called MATIC, they're now called Polygon. And what they have is an Ethereum compatible network. And basically, the transaction fees, the gas fees, all of those problems go away. So it's fractional gas fees. It's super fast transactions. So we've just opened up our whole infrastructure so anything can be taken on and off from our system to any other marketplace. So that's the first thing that we've changed in Terra Virtua. But the next thing we're doing immediately after that is moving everything wholesale onto MATIC. But again, this shouldn't be the problem of the user. Right now, we eat the fees. So when somebody basically goes ahead and buys something on a credit card, they don't pay the gas fees. Because when you're a mass market user and you buy something, you don't want that hidden charge. So right now we're swallowing it in terms of the fees. And when we move to MATIC, it won't make any difference to the user because the user doesn't care about the technology. And being the CTO and co-founder, you know, that's controversial, but people don't care. When you make an in-app purchase on your Apple iPhone, you don't care how it works. You just care that it works. And people want things to be secure. And so that leads on to the other issue that you had with the NFTs is that people also need to have safeguards to make sure that what they have is real. And so, you know, you're talking about NFTs and people need to choose carefully. One of the things that you do get, and right now it's something that people know in the space, when somebody buys a piece of artwork, you need to make sure that the artwork is created by the creator. You need to make sure that they get the IPs and the royalties. And what you're seeing, because it is a little bit a bit like the Wild West right now, it's early days. That's how it is even with early.com, is that there are people who claim to be artists who are putting the work up on platforms. There are people who are taking pieces of work which aren't theirs. And that's one thing that has now become one of our focuses as well, that when we bring a creator on, so we have artists, we need to know who they are. We need to know that the work is verified, and we make sure they don't create something which the brands won't call later sue them for copyright infringement. So these are other challenges around NFTs that we're trying to take all creators through. Creators need to be paid. The creators need to also have the copyright enforced.
I think you make an absolutely brilliant point, and I totally agree with you when you say that users actually don't care about the technology. And I don't think that's controversial at all, actually, because they don't. People just want a finished product that they can use, that adds value, that makes them money, and whatever it is. But with that in mind, then, if you guys are swallowing the fees, do you ever think that Ethereum could potentially be, how do I put it, kind of made redundant if you have things like MATIC and things like Binance Smart Chain actually, offering more competitive solutions?
Yeah, no, I think that eventually Ethereum will get its act together. I think that their network will improve. They're doing a lot of things. They've got betas. But I think people like MATIC and Binance Smart Chain, both are friends of ours. We're going to, and there's support coming for MATIC, and also we're talking with Binance as well. I think a few of the big layer 2 platforms will survive, and I think some won't. I mean, we partnered with some of the best ones, and there's some new ones coming out. There's Casper Networks, who'll bring out more of an enterprise blockchain. There's Elrond, there's MATIC, there's Binance Smart Chain, there's Cardano. There's a whole bunch of smart chains, and I think what's going to happen is that good NFT platforms will support all of them. Because really, the user doesn't care about the plumbing. They just care that it's safe and Sure. So whichever blockchain you use, we're going to have multi-blockchain support. So it's not even a case of once Ethereum gets their act together, there'll be more things on Ethereum. But as long as they have portability between them, it's not going to matter. As long as the user can move them around, they don't care how they move them around. They just care that they can click a button and it's there. That's all anyone cares about.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. You know, even when we're just using our iPhones, nobody actually cares. I mean, even when it comes to data, just off topic for a second, you know, a lot of people don't actually care about their privacy and don't actually care about their data as long as they're able to, you know, surf the internet, get what they want to get and do what they want to do. So
convenience is king, right? Convenience is king. People will talk about the data, but if they can just click a button and they know it's going, generally people don't care. You're right.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now, you guys have the Fan Cave and the Terra Dome, which is really cool. I've played around with it. But how are you planning on making that more of a social experience?
Well, that's a big phase. So right now we've got a roadmap of lots of things that we're going to be doing over the coming year. And one of the big things is that Fan Cave is part of a building block. So we have our marketplace, we've got augmented reality, then we've got our fan caves, but there's a lot of expansion coming. So we're going to have multiple environments. You're going to have the ability to customize even more and the ability to invite people to see your fan cave, the ability to actually go into other people's, stream the fan cave onto multiple devices so you don't have to be there locally. Social has to be king, because when you buy objects and you buy stuff, it's about people like to share, people like to brag. And part of that is bringing people in. So there's going to be a whole social layer which is coming. And that's going to be for the web and for augmented reality, but especially for the fan cave. So you've got your room and it's got all of your memorabilia. You want to invite your friends to come and see it. You want voice over IP. You want the ability for clubs who are fans to have one space where all the fans can exhibit their stuff all in one place. So if you've got a massive Godzilla versus Kong fan group, let them take all of the stuff that they have, put it in one massive museum and let all the fans come and see it without fear of damaging or without fear of stealing. This is how the digital age will bring things together. You know, so social has to be key. But before you go social, you've got to build the pillars, and that's what we've done so far. But now social is a big thing that we're developing right now.
The way you describe that sort of reminds me of, if you remember like the old Star Wars movies and they had holograms, and we always sort of thought holograms were going to be the future. But I also feel like that would have happened by now if it was going to happen. But actually this is kind of the equivalent, whereas we sort of go into this virtual room and we're all there and we can all sort of, you know, enjoy the artwork and the Godzilla and look at it like that. I sort of feel like that's the future, and that's kind of what we will have instead of holograms, because I sort of remember we'd always, they'd always expect us to have that.
That's right, and it's all about sharing. Like we've even got art galleries now. So art galleries are exhibitions, and we have the artists come from around the world, and we do Twitch streams where the artists can talk about their work. You can bring people together in new ways by doing this. And holograms like Star Wars, I mean, you know, the augmented reality, when that really kicks in and people have got very lightweight glasses, you'll be able to do things like that. You'll have that little Star Wars chess piece as a hologram in front of you. But it'll be just another way to consume the item that you bought. But sharing means a whole environment. And that's 3D or VR, whenever that catches up.
So tell me, how has the Terra Virtua NFT Marketplace evolved? Can you tell us some impressive numbers?
Okay, well, the marketplace has evolved in many ways. I mean, initially we started off only focusing on collectibles. Now we've got a big initiative going on artwork as well. So artwork makes up a big chunk of our revenues and sales and trades. A lot of what we're doing is coming very soon. The whole social element is being added, and there's multiple new ways to consume items that's coming soon. You know, we're publishing a roadmap just today, which is going to show a lot of the stuff we have. And in terms of our numbers, I mean, we now are at the point where we have over 1 million users hitting our site. You know, when Gary spoke to you before, we were talking in the low thousands, but now it's literally, if you look at it this way, Godzilla versus Kong had over 50 million people watching the trailer alone. And when we dropped Mecha Godzilla last week, we had so many people on our site, it literally fell over flat on its back. So this week we had to implement a queuing system. So when all the people come in, it puts them in a little queue to stop that happening, and then let them into the website so they can buy things. So you drop 1,000 items and literally most of them are gone within half a day. I mean, the sheer amount of scale that we're getting, and we're going to get more and more once you start doing the equivalent of music concert tickets or sport tickets or live albums that are being streamed on Terra. You're going to see lots of interesting stuff. It's going to be far more than just merch. You're going to see interactive experiences, and also you're going to see merchandise around that. So for Godzilla vs. Kong, for example, right now, you can stream it, or you can go to the cinema. You can go to Terra Virtua and buy merch, but we have an app that's being submitted now. So when the launch comes, you can actually have a watch party with a mobile app, which has got like AR filters, so you can have the Kong head or the Godzilla head and share a certificate of participation, record selfies, and it links them all to the merch that you buy. So now your memories of that event are linked to what you buy. And really, items remind you of stuff that you've done. A T-shirt for a concert will remind you of a time you were with friends, and we can tie that all in together. So that's sort of the direction we're going. We're looking for social, but also to cross multiple platforms. And we think the way that people are going to watch and share and participate will also change. So now a lot is post-COVID, a lot has happened where movies are going to be released on streaming and they're being released on the cinema at the same time. So how do you bring that social experience at home? You have watch parties, you have merch drops, you've got filters, ways to interact socially on your mobile phone simultaneously with a movie launch, and link that to everything we're doing in Terra Virtua. And we're doing all of that right now. With Godzilla versus Kong, there's a social app coming out as well. So a lot of the shape of society has changed, and what we're trying to do is embrace that change in a way and try to bring back the social element, even though people are stuck at home.
Yeah, the possibilities are just endless, and I think it's insane to try and keep up with all of this and understand everything that's going on. But things are moving at such a fast pace, so I think it's just so incredible just to watch how this all plays out. But tell me about TVK staking.
Okay, so basically, staking is a key thing when you're bringing out a new product. And so what we're doing, the way you can best think about TVK staking is like it's an exclusive club. So what we're doing is, depending on the types of staking you're doing, you're actually going to have tiers. So let's say you've got silver, gold, and platinum. And depending on the types of staking levels that you have, you get different rewards. So there's all sorts of things that you can do. So if I was to pick out a few things here. So let's just say that you are on the silver stage, on the silver tier, you could have access to collaborations for little robots. So like you've got VFlex that you've got, which are these little robots that you have that are insanely popular. We've created the IP ourselves. So you'd have access to those. You'd have access to exclusive merchandise. You get random raffle access. You get drops of free NFTs. You get discount codes. And as you work up the tiers, you would get access to even investment pools. So you'd be able to even, let's say somebody's dropping a brand new piece of merch, something a creator's doing, you could actually have access to revenue share. Let's say that you're on the platinum tier, you would have the right to enter certain pools. So when somebody releases something, you get a revenue share on the sales for it. So the idea is that if you really want to think about staking, you stake your token, but you get rewards in terms of exclusive merchandise, rewards in terms of discounts, rewards in terms of access, and rewards in terms of even having investment opportunities into NFTs. And that's TVK staking in terms of our Prestige Club, which is coming soon. And then we've got other things that we're launching even as late as later this month. And they're going to be things like investment pools where you can stake your TVK and earn certain types of rewards and some return on the TVK. What we're trying to do as a business is not focus so much on just giving away free tokens, but to give away things which have got real value, because otherwise it becomes a cycle of just giving tokens away to keep people to lock your tokens, which is not a healthy cycle for any company to be in, really. But there are no options because you want people to stake. But we can provide value by providing access. I mean, we've got access to the studios, and we've had conversations with them saying, look, we'll fly someone over. They can have a tour of the set. They can see a movie in production, and we can do that for you. And if you've got a Prestige Club that involves TVK staking and you're an Uber fan, you'll be rewarded as a fan for an experience you can't get anywhere else. And that's what we think adds more value to TVK and being part of our whole ecosystem.
Yeah, I think that's really important because there's so many projects out there that I feel just have a token, have a coin just for the sake of locking people into the ecosystem. And I always get really frustrated by that because a lot of the time, if they really needed something, like a rewards token or whatever, I don't see why they couldn't use, let's just say, Bitcoin as an example, as a rewards coin. And I get really frustrated when there's no other value other than just locking something in, and then you're kind of you're at risk to the volatility of the token. So I think it's great to hear that there's added value as well. I think fans will appreciate that, absolutely.
Yeah, because they're fans they're fans, and if you can give them something exclusive which has got value that they can hold for themselves or sell, which has value, that's not subject to the fluctuation of the token. So it's not just earning for the sake of earning.
Yes, exactly, and that's what I'm getting at, and that's why I get so frustrated with different types of projects, because that's all you get. You get the price volatility, and that's kind of it. But just finally, then, what can we expect in the next year to come from you guys?
You're going to see us get much wider. I mean, Gary's always on Telegram and trying to dampen expectations, and he's right, because what we really try to do as a company is not just create false hype. So people always buy on the hype, sell on the news, and we don't do that. So we only announce. And so what we're doing, though, is we're going much wider. Right now, you're seeing movies, but we're actively getting into music, some elements of sports. We're doing tie-ups across the world with not just English movies, but movies in multiple different languages with massive studios. We've got so many types of new experiences coming in from our fan cave and make our metaverse expand, and the social element is going to be huge. So as much as adding in new width into what we do, and there are a lot of areas where we want to expand, but they're going to be part of already great new announcements. We're also really going to focus on creating a great new innovative social experience. Right now, NFTs are mostly just an image on a website with some 3D. We're going to make it completely interactive. And we're in VR, we're in 3D, we're in AR, and we're on the web. And this is just the starting. We're going to bring them and mesh them together to make it so entertaining and exciting. Because if I can buy an item and it's just a representation of the physical item, what's the fun in that? But if you can have, and Gary always gives this example, if you've got like 2 items that you bought and you put them in front of you and they recognize each other, and then let's say it's a superhero battle, they start fighting each other, that's more exciting. And there's all sorts of Easter eggs and things that we're going to be bringing in. So, yeah, I mean, there's so much to do. And our team is completely flat out. But it's all about growing the partnerships, growing art, growing RIPs, and increasing the experiences. And experience is going to be key to making this work. And also find ways to reward the creators and really be known as the place that respects IP, respects people, the little guy to the big guy, and make sure everyone's rewarded. Because this is a way that anyone can be rewarded for their work. And that's what Terra Virtua is all about.
Absolutely. I think it's brilliant. I'm really enjoying seeing the growth, since our last conversation. I think it's going to be fantastic. Hopefully we can catch up again in another 6 to 8 months just to see where you guys are at. And I want to wish you the best of luck, and thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.